Would you ever walk into a room full of buyers and then decide to show your house to only 5 of them? That is exactly what's happening with off-market listings right now, and a lot of sellers don't even realize it. Today, I'm breaking down what off-market homes are, why companies like Compass are pushing them, what Zillow just rolled out with Zillow Preview, and most importantly, whether selling your home off-market actually costs you. My name is Christine McKinley. I am with the Orlando Real Estate Chicks, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you find any of this stuff educational, full of purpose for whatever you're going through in your life, or interesting, please like and subscribe. Okay, so what off-market actually means, and let's simplify this because there's a lot of buzzwords floating around right now. An off-market listing just means that your home is not listed on the MLS, which is the main database that feeds Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, Homes.com, and basically everywhere that buyers are looking. So instead, your home is being shown privately if it's not on the MLS. It's being showed maybe inside one brokerage or to a small agent network or just to a limited list of buyers. And you might hear that this is being called like a private exclusive, a coming soon or an extended coming soon, an office exclusive, or just like an off MLS listing. It is all the same name, the same concept, just a limited exposure. And why is this so trending right now? This is not random. There's a reason why this is being pushed hard right now. Companies like Compass have built entire platforms around this, what they call a private exclusive. Now, again, the pitch sounds great. It's like you can test the market, you can maintain your privacy, you also avoid days on market, and it kind of creates this exclusivity around your home. And now Zillow just entered the chat with something new called a Zillow Preview. Now, this allows listings to be seen before they officially hit the market, but still in like a controlled way. And yes, as a RE/MAX agent, I do have tools to this Zillow Preview. Zillow and RE/MAX just signed a contract about this maybe a week ago. So this is kind of new for us RE/MAX agents, but we do have access to Zillow Preview. But just because we can do something doesn't mean that we should. You see, real estate is simple when you really just strip it down to the basics. More exposure equals more demand equals stronger offers, and stronger offers equals a higher price. So when you go off market, what are you really doing? You are literally removing the demand. You are choosing, I don't want every buyer to see my home. And in a market like Central Florida, where we have relocation buyers, out-of-state buyers, international buyers, that is a really big decision that I hope that you think about whenever you choose your listing agent and your strategy. You are shrinking your buyer pool on purpose. And I feel like the listing agents that do this, they think that it's kind of cool that like they can sell your home to their off-market network or their database, but really all it's doing is it's limiting your exposure to someone who could pay higher. Okay, so obviously that's my opinion, but let's talk about the facts and not opinions. According to data from the National Association of Realtors, homes that are exposed to the full market consistently sell for more. Even more specifically, homes that are marketed broadly on the MLS sell for higher percentage of list price. Off-market transactions often lack competition, which leads to a lower final sales price, which is my biggest issue with these companies like Compass, is that this does not even help the seller at all, and they're pitching it to sellers as if it's helping them. But Zillow's own research has shown that homes with more online exposure, more views, more saves, more showings, they tend to sell faster and for more money. And here's the part that no one talks about. If only one buyer sees your home, you get one opinion of your value. If 10 buyers see your home, you get the leverage. If 50 buyers see your home, now you're in control, which is why everything that my personal marketing does is to get the most amount of views on your home. But let me say something a little bit bold, a little bit honest though. Off-market listings can benefit agents more than they benefit sellers. Why? Well, they end up double ending the deals, so they represent both sides, getting typically more commission. They keep these deals in-house, less competition from other agents, and usually a faster and easier transaction. That sounds efficient, but efficient for who? Because if I'm representing a seller, my job is not to make this easy. My job is to make this profitable for my client. And of course, to be fair, there are situations where off markets can make sense, like the ultra high profile sellers who need their privacy, or just like very unique properties with a niche buyer, or situations where the home truly isn't ready yet. But those are the exceptions and not the rule. And most of the time, that's not really what's happening. Most of the time, my clients want to sell for top dollar, and top dollar is getting their home in front of the most amount of people possible. Not only that, but most of my experience with off-market listings is that the buyers don't stick around as often as if you were on the market. So for example, and I'm going to tell like an older story, an example of this, just because I don't want anyone to think that this is like one of my listings right now, but I had this plot of land and it was about to go on the market, and there was a lot of stuff behind it, a lot of litigation, a lot of like insurance issues. And my seller, we were about 2 weeks from hitting the market. They met an agent out in the world naturally. That agent had a buyer for this plot of land. So they put me in contact with her, and we went under contract, but we were still off market, right? Well, this buyer felt that they could beat us up on price because they knew that they had no competition. And then what happened? While we were under the inspection period, they backed out because they didn't get what they wanted. This still happens when you're on the market, but just not as much, because the buyers, whenever they buy something that was on the market, they know that you had other interest and they don't want to lose the house. So what happened? That buyer ended up backing out. We went on the market, we got 7 offers, and we ended up closing for $20,000 more than that off-market buyer was gonna give us. I have another example. I have this really nice luxury home in Winter Park, and we were, again, about to list, and the neighbor listed. Well, whenever the neighbor listed, we got in contact with the neighbor and said, hey, any buyers that maybe come to your house, that don't like your house, send them our way. Now, this was not my choice. I like to hit the market, if that's not clear enough already in the video. But our sellers really wanted to sell off market because, again, I think that there's some sort of like exclusivity behind an off market listing, but it just does not benefit you. No matter how cool it may sound that you sold off market, it really does not benefit you. So anywho, we ended up showing this house to a few of the buyers who were interested in the next door neighbor's house, but it wasn't perfect and they wanted to come see our listing. We go under contract at a lower price because, again, we don't have all of the buyer demand. We don't have the busy open house to show people. We don't have any of that right now. But my sellers were okay with the price, so we went under contract. Then they beat us up on inspection, and my client said, you know what? No, we're just gonna hit the market. And now, because we're deciding to hit the market later than we originally planned on, now our timeline is set back a little bit. So I just have not recently found a good reason to stay off market. I'll say this clearly. I'm not against using tools like Zillow Preview strategically. I do have some ideas of how we're gonna use it now that it's available for RE/MAX agents like myself. I'm not against building hype before a listing hits the market, but I'm 100% against selling a home quietly when the goal is to get the most money possible. Why would you hide from thousands, sometimes millions of buyers and expect to get top dollar? It just doesn't make sense. If you're thinking about selling in Winter Park, Maitland, Oviedo, or anywhere in Seminole County, let's have the conversation and let's go through your options. Ask the agents that you are interviewing, where is my home being marketed? How many buyers will actually see it? Are we creating competition or are we avoiding it? Because the difference could literally be tens of thousands of dollars, if not more. And if you want a strategy that actually puts you in the strongest position possible, I'm always here to help. Most sellers don't realize this, but off market means less buyers, which means less money. Before you agree to sell your home off market, make sure you know what you're giving up. Bye.